Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at the university, and we're going to be looking at how you can complete your university in the most efficient time and way possible, and we're going to look at the ways in which you can reduce your university research time, and then we're going to have a little look at sort of like a priority order in which you should start to research your different leaders within the university. So you're getting two for the price of one today. We're going to look at how you can reduce the research time, and then which leaders to research, and sort of like the best order to look at researching them in. And why are we doing that? Well, that is because a new update's just dropped, which has made researching the university even quicker. If we jump quickly to the library, we can see that's not the library, that's the library. In the library, we've got some new research because we've got a new bookcase. It's not very often we get a new bookcase, and when we get one, we love to see it. And this one is called Basic Economics, and it's all around helping like the early part of the game just be a lot quicker for, well, I suppose for new players, but even for us sort of more experienced players. The main bit in here that I was excited about is this university research reduction in the intellectual integrity part here. So, lovely new update, research time for the university there being reduced by a further 4%, which doesn't sound much, but what we're going to do is I'm going to jump now to a spreadsheet that I've made, and some of you may know that I love a spreadsheet, and we're going to crunch some numbers. We're going to nerd out on university research time and how we can best reduce the time that it takes to research things in the university. So, excuse me whilst I hop over to my beautiful spreadsheet. Right, hello, welcome back. We are now in a beautiful little spreadsheet that I've made that's hopefully going to show you how you can best reduce your university research time. And off the bat, straight away, you can get academic timetables in the Parliament that's going to reduce your university research time by 10%. Which is that's a nice amount to have straight away. But then if we look further, we can get another 10% when we get to Atomic Age, and getting to Atomic Age really shouldn't take too long. I will do a video very soon on the quickest ways to level up, and hopefully you'll see that getting to Atomic Age doesn't take that long at all, and the Space Needle gives you a further 10% reduction time on your university research time. Now, we've got some other research here. We've got the microprocessor technology, which you get at Space Age in the library, which is another 5%. And then the new one that we've just had drop, that intellectual integrity, gives you another minus 4%. So without any museum artifacts or anything else, straight away, you can get 19% reduction time in your university research. Now, let's go to the next level, because these are what I've sort of classified here as external sources, but there is more. We can rack up this reduction time even more. So within the university itself, we have someone called Mansa Musa, and to research all of him takes 23 days. Not too long, really. In terms of like the grand scheme of DomiNations, 23 days isn't very long. There's a lot more things that take far longer. And by the time you finish Mansa Musa, that's another 30% reduction time in all the gold skills. Accompanying this, we have Chief Hawaitha, and I'm really sorry if I've butchered the pronunciation of that, but hey, I've tried. Hiawatha. Anyway, we get another minus 30% there, and that again only takes 23 days to do. It's also worth noting that these two also reduce the citizens required for gold and food skills by 1. So you need to get these guys done as soon as possible in your university. Those are like the top 2 to get done straight away. But if we go down a little bit more here on my spreadsheet, we've got Leonardo da Vinci, and he gives you a further 10% reduction time. Now, you may also see here that Leonardo takes 737 days to research. So, yes, getting on for quite some time there. However, let's just discount Leonardo for the minute, because we have now got 30% for food and gold skills and 19% from these other things. It's like, all other things. So if we now come out of whatever I've done here, there we go, and scroll down, we can basically now get minus, crap. There we go. Right, we can get minus 49% for all food and gold skills. So straight away, we've almost half the time it takes for food and gold skills, just by having our academic timetables, Space Needle, microprocessor, and intellectual integrity. And of course, then we've got Mansa Musa and Chief Hawaitha that are going to give us that extra minus 30%. Now then, it's worth noting that Leonardo da Vinci time of 737 days, once you've got your Mansa Musa and Chief Hawaitha researched and the other external sources I just talked about, that 737 days has now gone down to 422 days, which is still very, very long, but we've got that down significantly already. Let's go to the next level then, because we've also got, as I'm sure we are all aware, museum artifacts, and very recently as well, BHG, I mean, they were like, I don't know what was going on, but I'm loving it. For 99p, like $1 or whatever it was, you can get Pompus's comb. And I urged my subscribers to get this, and I hope that you did, because Pompus comb gives you another minus 20%, which is fantastic. Which now means, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more here, because if we just forget about all the other artifacts and we take into consideration the Pompus comb, then the Leonardo research goes down to 288 days with the Pompus comb, which already, considering we started at 737, down to 288 days is amazing. So Pompus comb, alongside the Mansa Musa and all the other external resources, that's going to take your reduction time to like 69% almost now. Of course, if you're fortunate enough to get another, maybe just one more of these, there's lots of artifacts that give you reduction time on the university. We've got Enigma, we've got Mars Rover, we've got Helgo, we've got Ashanti or Soulcatcher. One more of those is going to pretty much take your reduction time to the cap of close to 85% reduction. And it's when you get to this part that things get interesting and the university speeds up significantly. It's worth just at this point, I'm just going to say as well that the reduction time is always calculated from the base time of a research skill. So let's say, for example here, we have a university skill that takes 10 days to research. If we then say we take off 20% of that time, it's now going to take 8 days to research. But now let's say you get, let's say we now add on Pompus's comb, another 20% reduction. That 20% doesn't come from the 8 days that we reduced it to. No, it comes from the original 10 days. So now we're actually going all the way down to 6 days, for example. So reduction time is always calculated from the base time. Worth just noting that. And this is now where then, if we get to that full 85% reduction, Leonardo has gone from 700 odd days down to 171, which really doesn't seem that bad. Now, this is where I want to credit a good friend of mine and a fellow wizard, Vapula, because he came up with this little spreadsheet here a while ago, and this is in some part what inspired me to sort of make this video, to make it more known. So let's have a look. We've got some university leaders down the side here, and then we've got the sort of like the base time, but then we've also got like the reduced time if you get to that 85% reduction time. So big shout out to Vap for doing this, and I hope he doesn't mind me using it. I'm sure he doesn't mind at all because he's a top guy. Big love to Vap. So Mansa Musa, as we said earlier on, takes 23 days, and Chief Hawaitha took 23 days. If we have that 85% reduction on, that's gone down to 3.45 days, which is really nothing at all. And if we have a look at some of these other ones on here, let's take Amelia Earnhardt, for example, who takes normally 60 days. With that 85% reduction, it's going to take you 23 days, which is really nothing at all. So hopefully you can see here, looking at some of these like ones that take a lot longer, like Sally Ride, or even going down to like Sun Tzu, who would normally take 888 days. When you've got that 85% reduction, that's gone down to 287 days research time. So massively cutting down that time that it takes to research. So summarizing here then, we want these external sources here. Those are easy to get. Make sure you got your Space Needle. Make sure you get that library technology. And make sure you're at a alliance that has the academic timetables. Then in terms of your university leaders, get that Mansa Musa, get that Chief Hawaitha, get those straight away. And then Leonardo da Vinci, he's worth working away on, but I'm going to do the final segment of the video in a minute where I talk about the best priority order for researching leaders, and we'll come on to that then. And then of course obviously Pompus comb, hopefully you got that. That's going to really add to your reduction time, and then any other like one more of these is going to bring your reduction time close to that 85%. Right, let's now jump back to my university where we're going to have a little look-see at which leaders you need to do and sort of like a bit of a priority order to do them in. Right. Okay, we are back at my base. Let's jump into the university and let's have a little look at which university leaders to research and sort of like a priority for doing them. So let's have a little look-see. As I said earlier on then, off the bat, we want to get Chief Hawaitha and Mansa Musa because they're going to give you that 30% reduction time for your gold and food skills, but most importantly, the final pieces of research are going to reduce the citizens required to research things in the university. And that's really the balance that you have to decide for yourself here, is how many citizens you want to commit to your university as opposed to leveling up all the other stuff that you have to level up in your base. My recommendation is maybe to have like 1 or 2 university leaders researching at any one time, because then you can keep your base ticking over as well. With the recent update as well, with sort of like the additional houses, that gives you those extra citizens, and I think BHG sort of twigged that actually the university is a massive grind, so those extra citizens really, I think you can just stick those in your university and keep them ticking over. So Chief Hawaitha and Mansa Musa, definitely get those. Those are like top priority. Don't do anything else before you do them. Then we want to get Emperor Mokatatomasa. Again, I probably butchered that, but we want this guy. And why do we want this guy? Because he's going to boost your coalition power significantly. And coalitions in war, like, you need to have like your coalitions leveled up to the maximum because they're going to allow you to be more powerful in wars. So we want this guy, get him done. It also gives you like extra hunting time and gathering and all that stuff, but really the main thing you want from this guy is the coalition power. And he also gives you some extra national trade goods, which are always fantastic because those are always a pain in the bum to have enough of. So who do we want next? Well, again, this is where you have to prioritise what you want. We talked about having Leonardo da Vinci done and having him tick over because he will then add that extra minus 10% to all of your other university research time. So if you've got like a good minus 49% with your Mansa Musa and all the other bits, we talked about how that's going to reduce them down to sort of 400 odd days. If you've got the Pompus comb as well, then that's going to further reduce this guy, I think we said, down to like 280 odd days. So you can get him done fairly quickly, and it's worth doing it for the extra minus 10%. That is, of course, if you haven't already got like an extra Mars rover or Soul Catcher or Enigma machine up your sleeve. Getting this done will give you the quickest sort of research time reduction that you can get for all your other leaders. So those are the 4 to really sort of prioritize. We've got Chief Hawaitha, Mansa Musa, Emperor Dude, and Leo. But then, really, I would say the next most important one is Amelia Earhart, because she's going to give you that extra airstrip troop capacity, and like that is just so important. As well as that, you're going to get the extra fighter hit points, paratrooper damage, transport hit points, all the stuff that you need really for your aeroplanes. Amelia's going to give it to you, so we want to get her done as soon as possible after we've done those other leaders I've just mentioned, because she's just going to make your life so much easier when it comes to grinding, wars, and just being strong enough to take down opponents harder than you might normally be able to, because planes are really important. Anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get, Amelia's going to be one of the next ones you want to do. And then what I would say is you can sort of like, you don't need to complete certain leaders, just get like the key research in them. So Suleiman the Magnificent, for example, the sort of first bits of research that are worth getting done with this guy is your Captain Field Mortars damage and your Captain Field Mortars hit points. And then you can pretty much leave him alone, because all the other stuff here isn't necessarily, like, it's not necessarily something you need to prioritise early on. So get those first few bits done there. We've also then got, is it Catherine, I believe? Let's have a look. No, it's, well, yes, Catherine's worth doing because she's going to give you extra damage for your heavy infantry. But where is it? Who was it? I've forgotten who it was. Hannibal, he's definitely worth ticking over because unlocking him as a general is really, really good. He's also going to give you that reduction time and extra mercenary hit points and all loads of good stuff that's going to make you really, really strong. So he's worth ticking over. Sun Tzu, the early research on him gives you extra troop capacity, and I believe you can get that in like Space Age, and that's going to give you an extra 15 troop capacity, so it's worth just getting that little first part for him as well. Where's the one I was thinking of earlier on, because it's worth getting? King Songjung, King Sejong, here we go, the protect duration. So again, just doing like the first few bits here, getting the protect duration increase is really, really beneficial. And then, where is she? I've remembered who it is. Sally Ride. Sally Ride is going to give you the increased assault rally speed, so getting up to that part's worth getting and considering researching, but also going to give you the Alliance Troop Gate capacity, and that is really important. Having that extra 20 capacity for your Alliance Troop Gate is going to allow you to have just more power in all of your war attacks and, well, any time you do an attack with Alliance troops. So getting that as well early on, definitely worth doing. The final one I'm going to say, because, I mean, you could say that they're all really, really important, but the final little bit that's worth getting, and this is a bugbear for many people, I'm sure, is Harriet Tubman. We want to get the spy report. It takes a little while, but with those reduction times, actually, I don't think it takes that long at all. I think it maybe takes like a couple of weeks, not even that. So get spy report, because you want to be able to see what your enemy museums are. Right, I think I've talked far too long. Hopefully that's been useful for you. So if you thought that was useful, give the video a like. I'd really appreciate it. I am really happy that BHG are doing these updates to make progressing in the university a lot easier, and progressing in the game easier by the looks of it, in the sort of like the direction they are taking. Extra citizens, extra reduction time for the university, all big winners in my books. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing, because I post on the regular. Again, give the video a cheeky little like, because I would like that a lot. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.